If you are over 60, what I'm about to tell you could change the way you look at your heart forever. Because right now, something could be happening inside your body, silently, without pain, without warning, and without giving you a second chance. Your arteries, the very pathways that carry life through your body, could be slowly narrowing, tightening, restricting blood flow, and you wouldn't even feel it. No sharp pain, no obvious signal, just a quiet buildup day after day, year after year. And then one day, everything changes. A heart attack, that seems to come out of nowhere. But here's the truth. It never comes out of nowhere. It builds silently. I'm Dr. Danzy, and you're watching Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, where we uncover the hidden dangers that most people don't see until it's too late. Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal might challenge everything you've been told about your heart. For years, you've probably heard the same advice. Watch your cholesterol. Avoid fatty foods. Eat healthy. And if your numbers look fine, you're safe. But what if I told you that this belief is exactly what's putting so many seniors at risk? In fact, a study of over 2,000 adults above the age of 60 found something deeply alarming. Nearly 70% of those who suffered a heart attack had cholesterol levels that were considered normal. Normal cholesterol, yet their arteries were dangerously blocked. So what's really going on inside your body? If it's not just cholesterol, then what is silently damaging your heart? To understand this, you need to picture something very simple. Imagine your arteries as smooth, flexible tubes. When you're younger, these tubes are wide open, allowing blood to flow freely, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every part of your body. But over time, something begins to change. These tubes start to narrow, not suddenly, but slowly. Layer by layer, a sticky substance begins to build up along the walls. This is what we call plaque. And here's where it becomes dangerous. You won't feel it happening. Your body adapts. It compensates. It finds ways to keep you moving, even when things are not right. So you continue your daily routine, thinking everything is fine. But inside, your arteries are slowly tightening, like a noose getting smaller day by day. And this is exactly how a heart attack begins. Not in a moment, but over years of silent buildup. Now here's where most people make a deadly mistake. They trust how they feel. I feel fine. I don't have chest pain. I'm okay. But that feeling can be dangerously misleading, because blocked arteries don't always scream. They whisper. A little fatigue, a slight heaviness in your chest after walking, a bit of breathlessness climbing stairs. Small signals, easy to ignore. But ignoring them is where the real danger begins. I remember one of my patients, a 68-year-old man who came in for a routine checkup. He looked strong. He felt energetic. He told me he felt better than he had in years. No chest pain, no warning signs. Everything seemed normal, but something didn't sit right with me. So we decided to run a deeper scan. And what we found shocked even him. More than 75% blockage in one of his major arteries. 75%. At that level, a heart attack can happen at any moment. And he had no idea. Now think about that. How many people are walking around right now, feeling perfectly fine, while their arteries are silently closing in? And this is where things become even more concerning, because the cause is not always what you think. Most people blame cholesterol alone. But cholesterol is only part of the story. The real danger is what happens to cholesterol inside your body. When your body is in a state of chronic inflammation, something changes. Cholesterol becomes unstable, damaged, sticky. Instead of flowing smoothly, it begins to cling to the walls of your arteries, like glue. And once that process starts, it accelerates faster than most people realize. A study involving 1,500 seniors found that those with higher levels of inflammation had nearly 2 times the risk of developing blocked arteries, even when their cholesterol levels were normal. So now the question becomes, what is causing this inflammation? And this is where most people unknowingly make the biggest mistake of all. They focus only on avoiding fats, cutting cholesterol, following outdated advice, but they ignore the real triggers, everyday habits, common routines, things that feel harmless, even healthy. But over time, they quietly damage your blood vessels, slow your blood flow, and increase your risk. And one of these habits is so common that almost everyone over 60 is doing it right now without even thinking about it. It doesn't feel dangerous. In fact, it feels comfortable, relaxing, safe. But inside your body, the effect is completely different. Because your blood flow is everything. When your blood moves freely, your heart works with ease. It doesn't struggle. It doesn't strain. But when your blood flow slows down, even slightly, your heart has to work harder, push stronger, beat longer, and over time, that extra strain begins to wear your heart down. This is how heart failure begins. Not suddenly, but gradually, step by step, day by day. And most people don't realize it's happening until the damage is already advanced. I had another patient, a woman in her early 70s, who came to me complaining of constant fatigue. She thought it was just aging. She said, "I'm getting older, this is normal." But when we looked deeper, we found something else. Her blood flow was significantly reduced. Her heart was working overtime, trying to compensate. She wasn't just tired. Her heart was struggling. And this is happening to thousands of people right now, silently. But here's the part that might surprise you. This process can often be slowed down, sometimes even improved, but only if you catch it early. Only if you understand what's really causing the problem. Because if you keep following the same habits, believing the same myths, the risk doesn't go away. It builds, quietly, relentlessly, until one day, your heart can't keep up anymore. And this is why what I'm about to reveal next is so important. Because there is one daily habit, something so simple, so common, that it can quietly reduce your blood flow, stiffen your arteries, and increase your risk of a heart attack without you ever realizing it. And the shocking part? Most people believe this habit is completely harmless. But what it's actually doing inside your body tells a very different story. Before I reveal what it is, I want you to take a moment and think about your own routine. What do you do every single day without fail? Something that feels normal, something you never question, because that habit might be the missing piece, the hidden trigger behind silent heart damage. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you exactly what it is and why stopping it could change everything for your heart after 60. But what happens next is where things become even more serious. Because once you understand what this habit is doing inside your body, you'll start to see the danger everywhere. And this is where most people make another mistake, one that costs them dearly. But we'll get to that in just a moment. And now, here's the habit that almost nobody suspects, yet it quietly affects your heart every single day. Sitting. Yes, something as simple as sitting too long. Now I know what you're thinking. That can't be dangerous. It's just rest. I've earned the right to relax. And that's exactly why this habit is so dangerous. Because it doesn't feel like a threat. It feels comfortable, safe, even healthy. But inside your body, something very different is happening. When you sit for long periods, your blood flow begins to slow down. Not instantly, but gradually. Your circulation becomes sluggish. Your vessels lose flexibility. And your heart has to work harder to push blood through a system that is no longer moving efficiently. Think of it like water in a pipe. When water flows continuously, the pipe stays clean. But when water sits still, debris begins to collect. Pressure builds. Blockage forms. Now imagine that happening inside your arteries. Slowly, silently, day after day. A study involving more than 2,500 adults over the age of 60 found something alarming. Those who sat for more than 6 hours a day had nearly 2 times the risk of poor blood flow and artery stiffness. 2 times. And the most shocking part? Most of them believed they were doing something good for their body. They thought they were resting, recovering, taking care of themselves. But their heart was paying the price. I remember one of my patients, a 69-year-old man, who spent most of his day sitting, watching television, reading, relaxing. He wasn't overeating. He wasn't doing anything extreme. But he was sitting for hours at a time, every single day. When we evaluated his circulation, it was significantly reduced. His arteries had become stiff. His heart was working harder than it should. And he had no idea. No warning signs he recognized. No pain that made him concerned. Just a quiet progression towards something much more serious. And this is where things become even more dangerous. Because sitting doesn't just affect your blood flow. It sets off a chain reaction inside your body. Your metabolism slows. Inflammation begins to rise. And remember what I told you earlier. Inflammation is what turns cholesterol into something dangerous. It's the spark, the trigger, the hidden force that causes damage. So even if your cholesterol levels look normal, even if your diet seems healthy, if your body is stuck in this low movement state, your risk continues to grow. Quietly, relentlessly. This is why so many people feel confused. They say, I eat well. My reports are normal. But something still doesn't feel right. And the missing piece is often movement. Or more accurately, the lack of it. Now here's something most people never realize. Your arteries are not just passive tubes. They are living structures. They respond to how you live. When you move, even lightly, your arteries expand. They stay flexible. They adapt. But when you stay still for too long, they begin to stiffen. And stiff arteries are dangerous. They restrict blood flow. They increase strain on your heart. And over time, they create the perfect environment for plaque buildup. This is how blockage accelerates. Not overnight, but through small, repeated habits, day after day. And this is where most people make another critical mistake. They believe that only intense exercise matters. They think, if I can't do a full workout, there's no point. But that belief is costing them. Because your heart doesn't need intensity. It needs consistency. Simple movements, done regularly, can change everything. In fact, a study showed that seniors who walked just 10 minutes, 3 times a day, improved their circulation by nearly 30% within weeks. 30%. Think about that. Not hours. Not exhausting routines. Just small, consistent action. But here's the problem. Most people don't stay consistent. They start for a few days. Then they stop. They forget. They get comfortable again. And slowly, they fall back into the same pattern. Long hours of sitting. Minimal movement. And the cycle continues. Now let me ask you something. How many hours do you spend sitting each day? Be honest with yourself. Because that number could be telling you more about your heart than any report. And this is where things take another unexpected turn. Because sitting is only part of the problem. There's something else. Something even more hidden. That works together with this habit to increase your risk. And it's something you consume daily. Something that most people believe is harmless. Even healthy. But in reality, it may be quietly fueling inflammation, damaging your arteries, and accelerating blockage. And this is where the danger multiplies. Because when you combine poor movement with the wrong kind of daily intake, the effect on your heart becomes stronger, faster, more aggressive. I had a patient, a 72-year-old woman, who believed she was doing everything right. She avoided fried foods, chose low-fat options, followed what she thought was good advice. But she also consumed a lot of packaged snacks, processed items, things labeled as healthy, and she spent long hours sitting. When we examined her condition, we found early signs of artery narrowing. Her blood flow was compromised. Her heart was under strain, and she was shocked. She said, I thought I was doing everything right. But this is the problem. So many people are following advice that doesn't tell the full story. They focus on what to avoid, but not on what actually matters. They look at numbers, but ignore what's happening inside their body. And the result is silent progression towards something much more serious. Now here's where things start to change. Because there is a way to support your blood flow, to reduce this silent damage, to help your arteries function better, even after 60. But most people either don't know about it, or they use it the wrong way. And that mistake makes all the difference. Because in just a moment, I'm going to reveal one simple thing, something natural, that has been shown to support better blood flow, improve circulation, and help your arteries stay more flexible. But there's a catch, because if you use it the wrong way, the benefit becomes much weaker. And most people don't realize this. So before we go further, if you care about your heart, if you want to stay ahead of silent damage, take a moment to subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because what you learn here could help you avoid the mistakes that so many others don't realize until it's too late. And trust me, what I'm about to show you next might completely change how you look at your daily routine and your heart, because what comes next is something almost no one expects. And yet, it could make a powerful difference if used the right way. And now, we come to something that surprises almost everyone. Something simple. Something you've probably used hundreds of times without thinking twice. And yet, it may be one of the most powerful natural ways to support your blood flow after 60. I'm talking about garlic. Yes, garlic. Now, before you dismiss this as just another home remedy, stay with me. Because what most people don't understand is how it works inside your body and why it matters so much for your heart. You see, the real problem we've been talking about is not just cholesterol. It's what happens when cholesterol becomes damaged, inflamed, and starts sticking to your artery walls. That's where the danger begins. And garlic directly targets that process. It contains natural compounds that help reduce inflammation inside your blood vessels. And as you already know, inflammation is the spark, the trigger that turns normal cholesterol into something harmful. So when you reduce that spark, you reduce the damage. But that's not all. Garlic also helps your blood vessels relax, become more flexible, open up instead of staying tight and restricted, which means your blood can flow more freely. And when your blood flows better, your heart doesn't have to struggle. It doesn't have to push as hard. It doesn't have to fight resistance with every beat. And over time, that reduces the strain on your heart. Now here's something very few people know. A study involving more than 1,200 adults above the age of 60 found that those who included garlic regularly in their routine showed up to a 25% improvement in blood flow markers within just a few months. 25%. That's not a small change. That's your circulation improving, your heart working more efficiently, your risk potentially decreasing over time. But here's where most people make a mistake. They think, I already use garlic in cooking, so I'm getting the benefit. But that's not entirely true, because how you use it matters. When garlic is exposed to very high heat or heavily processed, some of its most beneficial compounds begin to break down, which means the effect becomes weaker, less effective, and in some cases, almost negligible. So the way you include it in your daily routine makes all the difference. Small amounts, used properly, used consistently. That's where the real benefit begins. But let me be very clear about something. Garlic is not a miracle cure. It's not going to erase years of damage overnight. And this is where many people go wrong again. They look for one solution, one quick fix, one magic answer. But your heart doesn't work that way. It responds to patterns, daily habits, what you do again and again over time. And this is why everything we've talked about connects together. Your movement, your daily routine, your food choices, your consistency, it all adds up. And if even one of these areas is ignored, the risk doesn't disappear. It continues silently. Now think about this for a moment. Right now, inside your body, your arteries are either becoming more open or more restricted. Your blood is either flowing freely or struggling to move. Your heart is either working with ease or under constant strain. And the difference often comes down to small decisions you make every single day. What you eat, how much you move, what habits you repeat. I had a patient, a 74-year-old woman, who came to me with constant fatigue. She felt weak, drained, even after resting. She believed it was just aging, something she had to accept. But when we looked deeper, we found early signs of restricted blood flow. Her circulation was not where it should be. Her heart was working harder than necessary. So we made simple changes. Nothing extreme. We focused on consistency, reducing inflammatory foods, encouraging regular movement, and yes, adding supportive elements like garlic in the right way. Over time, something changed. Her energy improved. Her fatigue reduced. Her heart function became more efficient. And most importantly, she felt in control again. Now imagine if she had ignored those signs. If she had continued the same routine, the same habits, the same assumptions, where would that path have led? Because this is the difference most people don't see. The difference between prevention and emergency, between control and crisis. And this is why I keep repeating this. Waiting for symptoms is the biggest mistake you can make. Because by the time your body gives you a strong signal, the damage is often already advanced. Heart attacks don't always give second chances. And silent heart damage lives up to its name. It stays hidden until it becomes dangerous. So don't wait for fear to force you into action. Take control before that moment comes. Start small. Move your body, even if it's just a few minutes every hour. Be mindful of what you're consuming daily. Reduce what fuels inflammation. Support what helps your blood flow. Stay consistent, not perfect, because your heart is not asking for perfection. It's asking for support, daily support, reliable support. And if you give it that, you give yourself something incredibly valuable: time, energy, and the chance to live with strength, even after 60. So now I want to ask you something. What is one habit in your daily routine that you know might be affecting your heart? Take a moment, think about it honestly, because awareness is the first step toward change. And change is what protects you. I'm Dr. Danzy, And this is Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. If this message opened your eyes, even a little, don't ignore it. Subscribe, stay connected, and keep learning. Because what you understand today could protect your tomorrow. And remember, your heart may be silent, but it is always speaking. The question is, are you listening? And before you go, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from? Which city, which country? Take a moment and tell me in the comments. And also, let me know your age and one daily habit you think might be affecting your heart. Because when you share, you don't just help yourself. You help others realize they're not alone. I read every comment, and it helps me create videos that truly matter for you. So don't stay silent. Your voice matters here. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. Because what you learned today could protect your tomorrow. Take care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.